Cheese.
Okay, I want you to say something.
Okay.
Minimalism. Minimalism.
Minimalism.
Lee's minimalist answer would be less is more. Our solution to architecture is to take different approaches with a simple applied objective, which is to return to the starting point, a degree of zero of sorts, and after this objective, we get a result, which is our solution, and that solution is a stripped out object with nothing but its essentials at work. The solution that we arrived to is a sober and a pure form, and it's from here that we can cautiously begin to construct a set of minimal aesthetic meanings. And in order for us to achieve this aesthetic characters, we capitalize in the poetics of materials to maximize the minimal characteristics. But the main objective, the final product, is the one that takes all. The pure geometric forms, the expressiveness of material, and delivers a quality where everything, the whole object, is clearly understood, a unitary element.
Well, anytime we talk about inspiration, we kind of have to look back at the past for precedents. The history of minimalism began in the 1960s. Painters and sculptors used it formally at the Bauhaus. Then in the 1980s, fashion designers got together with architects to try to develop some base principles that could be applied universally. Sort of the beauty mass that we had looked at before. Japanese culture has also long used the idea of Zen in their life and in design practices. Minimalism follows the same principle. It's the reduction of clutter in their life to free the soul. Other precedents I would say would include possibly the Distill and from the Netherlands. They continued to explore and work with the design principles. Also, the addition to the theory was the organization of functions along planes and lines. Mies van der Rohe was also a successful architect using the principles of minimalism. Less is more was his famous saying. His buildings have a presence about them that I would say is created by the reduction of visual clutter. Another person involved would be Robert Morris. He has been said that minimalism provides a structural framework for formal elements to be organized upon, and also provides maximum resistance to perceptual separation. Minimalism is also seen in futuristic designs, especially in movies where stark or sanitary environments are required for the scene. Screenwriters couldn't be further from the truth, really, because they provide these environments where it's stark and there's no emotion, sort of a cold environment. Maybe that works for space, but realistically, it's just the fact that the architect hasn't had the time to go through a true design process, and the functionality of the building and space that is in the movie is not actually as important as the mood of the scene. We also see minimalism in futuristic designs, pushing architecture forwards continually, and hopefully we'll see some more buildings built here in the future.
Well, anytime you begin to talk about architecture and applied theories or ideas, it can always exist in a three-dimensional form. So I think a better question would be, can minimalism only be or exist as a three-dimensional form or object? And the answer is no. I think throughout history, we have seen manifestations of minimalism in many different mediums. In the start of minimalism in America, at least, it was first introduced by the writings of Ernest Hemingway, a style of writing which he made famous, where meaning is established through silence, through minimal or lack of dialogue. He wrote, "It is possible to omit as long as one is conscious of the omission and provided the thing omitted reinforces the narrative, so that it makes the reader feel beyond what is printed on the page." It is also evident in art. You might recall paintings from Casimir Malevich called Supermatism. Much like minimal art, music can have minimal tendencies as well. For example, reduction in music, composition, and structure. Artists avoid complex rhythms and sound spectrums. A good example would be Philip Glass. So basically, minimalism can be applied to anything that contains a structure. One example that is very evident in our time is marketing. The branding of a product, the message that the brand needs to convey has to be in a minimal format, because the audience tends to make their decision about the product within seconds. So it needs to be a minimal message. And it's also a lifestyle, so no.
Well, you minimize it. That's what minimalism does. It simplifies. It's an attack on complexity. By simplifying architecture to its essentials, you allow for more of the solution to the problem or program to happen. The space can now maximize the necessary functions of the building that it was made for, without architecture getting in the way. This is why some of the most prestigious commissions in the public, business, private sectors look to minimalist architecture as a solution. Projects such as Tadao Ando's Church of the Light and Toshio Taniguchi's MoMA renovation. The one thing in common these buildings typologies have is that they all deal with complex social issues. The buildings must handle large numbers of occupants and accommodate diversity. A specific style might only appeal to a certain demographic. Minimizing style is the solution. What sets you apart? Although both minimalism and modernism share a similar aesthetic and characteristics, such as the reduction of decoration, 90-degree angles, and a truth to materials, the ideas behind each ism is what sets them apart. Modernism is based on the ideas of form follows function and less is more.
Less is more.
I don't think he's a fan of me's. So minimalism has its own takes on those quotes. They are what I call form follows feeling and least is most, if you will. Form follows feeling suggests that the spatial qualities of a space follow the need for a certain feeling of calmness, tranquility to be experienced by the user versus addressing only the function or use to it as it's designed for. Least is most states that minimalist aesthetic itself is prioritized or even introverted from its surroundings. It's a response to complexity. It's a criticism to its surrounding architecture, cityscape, and social conditions. It follows the lifestyle of the minimalist, a cleansing of our consumer culture, the getting rid of things to make space to fully experience and cherish the moments of life itself. Less is more was an attempt to dissolve architecture of its decoration, celebrating material and construction detail. Modernism is devoted to the visual qualities of architecture, while minimalism's goal is to stir emotions and prioritize the experience of the user, not just the aesthetics.
Peter Zumthor designs with an ultimate goal, which he calls architectonic dramatization. It is the process that physical experience reaches to the memory. So maybe that's the only way that we can remember. For him, architecture is always these two things. It is the space and the use. He uses light, air, sounds, and material as his alphabet of his architecture. For us, we also strive to focus on experiential qualities of space. At the center of architecture, there might seem to be an empty space, but you cannot plan emptiness. You can draw its boundaries, so the empty becomes alive. So for us, we focus on the light and variation that spread in this absence. It's overload of information and signs, representation of things that nobody completely understands. And minimalism has the capability to deliver that information in a short amount of time, especially in a fast-paced society. So I can see minimalism becoming the most acceptable lifestyle for the general public of our time. As for architecture, the evolution of it has been made up of moments of crisis that are repeated cycles, and this requires a revision of the fundamental concept and usually returns to this state of search for essence and a sober state of design. This is what all minimalist buildings have in common, even though they might be from very different time periods. And with that said, minimalism it never dies. It's like an unending cycle. So would you start from here?
No, you couldn't start.
Gotta do it like rappers.
It would have to be like.
I need the glasses with like the light ring. You know, you
Well,
just got the reflection. It's just the two rings of light on the
I would start it here.
So what's your design philosophy?
Well, in these words, it would be minimalism would be. Shit, no, let's go back. Sorry.
The parallel between minimalism and modernism. I cannot read this.
It is a physical experience that your memory reaches The evolution of it has been made up of moments of crisis that
Yeah, and then at this point, I'm aligned.
Okay, and then I walk straight, right?
Yeah, because I was like kind of chasing you, so just let me kind of catch up to you. Like we maintain the same space, but that space
Well, you can
just
count
becomes.
and just be like this, and then I'll wait kind of for you to catch up, and then you just do the two, and then I'll keep walking.
Okay. You can always kind of, just like be in the constant movement.
Right,
That's
yeah,
just
you're
it.
right, but I'll slow down for you.
Okay.
Okay, let me get my camera. So, are we starting over or just keep on
Yeah,
going?
we're starting over. So did you stop this one?
Yeah.